Welcome back. Today I'm going to make Rocky Road frosting. So it's going to be chocolate frosting with marshmallows and walnuts. So let's get started. The first thing I need to do is prep the walnuts because I bought halves and pieces of walnuts, but I believe that I'm going to need to chop these up a little. Now I don't want to use my food processor because with the food processor I feel like the pieces will end up too small. So I'm going to get a cutting board and a knife. I need about I believe like a half a cup of walnuts. So I'm going to measure to this line and just see. And if I end up needing more later, then I will chop up some more. But I think that's probably enough. I don't want to have a whole bunch of walnuts in this. That might be a heaping half a cup. Okay. It ends up being a cup, I think, because I'm going to use an entire 10-ounce bag of marshmallows, and it is the little marshmallows. Okay, so let's chop up a cup, excuse me, and then I'll remeasure it again after I chop it up and see how it looks. And then when I add it to the frosting, we'll kind of have a better idea. I want to have enough, but I don't want to have too much. So I'm going to try to do it kind of like this size. And, oh, you might want to taste test your, very fresh. Taste test your walnuts to make sure that they are good quality. Hope everybody's having a good day. So when I was a kid, Rocky Road ice cream was one of my favorites. I still like it a lot. There's a whole bunch of so many more flavors now, though. It's hard to actually choose what is my favorite ice cream flavor. So I can't say that that's my favorite anymore because there's just so many to choose from. So let's see if this still looks pretty much the same. Sometimes when you chop up stuff, air gets in between and then it actually looks like it's larger. Okay, so it's still looking like a cup, but I think that'll be fine. Okay, so the next ingredient, we got that ready. So I'm doubling this recipe, so it's going to look like a lot. So I have 2 sticks of butter. So I'm going to put that in here. I always like to double my frosting recipe because a lot of times when I cut a piece of cake, our family will take some extra frosting and put it on the sides. And if we have leftover after the cake's gone, we just eat the frosting because it tastes quite delicious. It really tastes good when you mix frosting with ice cream. That is really an amazing taste. All right, so that's the butter. And I'm going to set that aside because I'm going to need to whip the butter. I'm going to need to whip the butter before I add anything else. I need 6 cups of powdered sugar. Again, this is a doubled recipe. So I'm going to, oops, I'm dropping things over. Where you can't see it, I'm dropping things. Okay, so right here is 6 cups. So I'm going to fill that to the line. You're going to get it pretty close with frosting. You don't have to be as precise as when you actually bake something, but we're going to get it pretty close. I usually keep my powdered sugar in a thing like this, which is nice, especially if you're going to put it on French toast or something like that. And then I'm just going to kind of like this and see where we're at. We're at 5 cups, so I'm going to just pour the rest out of this bag. And then I have to kind of shake it like this. And now I think I have too much. So I'm going to, luckily I have this container that I'm going to put the rest in. I'm going to get a spoon out and just take a little bit of this off. And then I'll shake it again and see where we're at. Okay. All right, I'm going to show you this way, and we're at the 6 cups that we need to be at. So the next step is measuring out the cocoa. And today I happen to have dark chocolate cocoa, but you can certainly use just regular cocoa that's not dark chocolate. All right, so I need, and again, I am doubling this recipe, I need 1 1/3 cup of cocoa. So I'm going to take a spoon. It's a little bit difficult to get because you can't just take the measuring cup and just scoop it out. So what I do is I just take a spoon and then I just kind of, I don't want to pack it in, so I'm going to try to do it pretty level here. It's not a bad idea to have an extra plate underneath because it can get messy and it's kind of hard to get the cocoa off of your counter. I know this from experience. I am a messy cook. So, but I'm the one that cleans up, so it's okay. All right. So that's about 1 cup. And I'm going to put this one in with the powdered sugar because it's all dry anyway. And now here's my 1/3. And I'm just going to do the same thing. And the cocoa smells luscious. Okay, so that's going to go in there. And then our next ingredients, so we have our butter, we have our cocoa, we have our powdered sugar, buttered cocoa, powdered sugar. We need actually 2/3 of a cup of milk. So that is to this line right here. And when you're measuring out liquid ingredients, you want to use a liquid measure and you want to get level with where you're measuring. So it's going to be 2/3 cup, and I'm going to go down here and I'm going to, and my dog is licking me. Okay, so there's the a little short. Okay, there's my 2/3. And then I'm going to put my extract in here too because it's liquid. So I need 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. 1, 2. All right, so now I'm going to take everything over to the mixer and we're going to start. So, but before we do that, we're going to go over this recipe to make sure we did not forget anything, and that's always a good idea. And I found myself when I do that, sometimes once in a while I did forget something. Okay, again, this is a doubled recipe. So we have 2 sticks of butter, 1 1/3 cup of cocoa, 6 cups of powdered sugar, 2/3 cup milk, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. We're going to use this attachment. Now, you don't want to use a wire whisk. That's to do egg whites and sauces and things like that. And you do not need to use a dough hook because that's like if you're going to do bread and cookie dough and that sort of thing. So this is the appropriate one, and we just now have the butter in here. Okay, I have my splash guard on so things don't go flying. I have my milk close by, and I have my milk and my vanilla extract and my cocoa and my powdered sugar. So let's get started. Okay, let's try this again. There we go. Okay, let's take a look and see what we got going here. It is blended very nicely, creamed very nicely already. I want to mention that I did leave out my butter for like about an hour on the counter. It's pretty cool because it's winter time, so I left it out for about an hour so that it would soften up. Okay, so the next step is I'm going to cover this up again with a splash guard, and then you will see me adding the milk mixture and the powdered sugar mixture, a little bit of the powdered sugar, then a little bit of the milk, and the speed will be slow and then faster, because if I go too fast when I first add the powdered sugar, it will be a huge mess even with the splash guard. Powdered sugar mixture. Milk. Halfway through adding stuff, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this nice rubber spatula that I have that also is kind of like spoon shaped, which I've been adding the powdered sugar mixture, and I'm going to just start kind of scraping the sides a little just to make sure anything that's on the side gets mixed in. Frosting, it's very important with anything you make, but particularly frosting, you really want to make sure that everything gets very well blended. Scrape down the sides again. Okay, this is smelling delicious. Let's mix it some more. If we're done yet. Okay, I think we're done. We need to scrape all the frosting off of this. So I'm going to take my rubber spatula and I'm going to scrape the frosting off the beater. Hope everybody's having a good day. I always love making frosting because I like to later lick the beater and whatever's stuck in the bowl. And as I said, I made extra, so there should be plenty for snacking on. All right, so I got to scrape these sides down and let's see how much we have here to see if I have too many marshmallows or too many walnuts, which I might have because it doesn't seem to be as much as I thought it was going to be. But it's also hard to tell when you have a big bowl. So I think what I'm going to do, and then I'll end up showing you how much it is I'm going to add a little bit of the marshmallows and a little bit of the walnuts at a time. Okay, so I started out with a cup of walnuts. Now I'm just going to kind of sprinkle these in so we can kind of, I'm going to start mixing it in and just see where we're at on this because I don't want to overdo it, but I also don't want to underdo it. And this is also a very thick frosting, which is good because I'm doing Rocky Road frosting, so it's almost thick like it is with ice cream. Okay, I think I could put some more walnuts in here now that it got mixed up. Let's just do it slowly so we also just get it mixed up. This is a workout because this frosting is so thick. Okay, based on what I'm seeing, we might as well go with the rest of the walnuts. It's not overwhelming the frosting. And you don't want to do this part in the mixer. I know somebody probably is going to think, you know, it'd be way easier and faster to do it in the mixer, but we don't want to crush up the walnuts so much that it's minced. We want it to be in chunks because this particular frosting is going to have a lot of texture to it. Now, bear with me. I have to go rinse off my hands before I go ahead and get the marshmallows in here. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing with the marshmallows. We're just going to start by, remember we have the whole bag of 10-ounce marshmallows. We're just going to start by adding a little bit at a time just to see where we're at on this. Because we don't want to not have enough marshmallows, but we don't want to have so many that it's ridiculous either. So I don't know that I'm going to need the whole thing, but it's hard to tell. So I'm mixing this up. So here's a situation where you're burning off your calories before you're even eating them. That's the good thing about cooking at home because you do use some muscle and you do stand on your feet. And this today, I'm using some muscle to get this stirred in. Okay. Now I think I could do a few more, but trying to figure out how to do this without making a mess. All right, so I'm going to do just a few more marshmallows. Okay, so I'm just going to show you I have this many. I have to back it up here. Okay, just trying to show you how many I actually used. And it might depend how thin your frosting is too. So, okay, so I have that much left over. And I think that'll be okay. We're going to mix it up and we're going to just test it. And then I'll tell you kind of how you want it to look. Now, I would not recommend doing this with full-size marshmallows. It would just be really not work out right. Okay, so I'm just going to stir this up and make sure that I have the marshmallows all over. And then I'll just kind of show you how that's going to look here. Okay. everybody's like, you're going to have to rinse your hands again. All right. So let's see. So you can see that there's marshmallows everywhere. It's covered in marshmallows. And then we have the walnuts. And I didn't want to go overwhelming with the walnuts, though. But there is the walnuts in there as well. Okay. My favorite part of the video, the taste test. Let's taste test this frosting. And I've mixed it up really well, so I'm hoping that I get a piece of the walnut in there. Of course, if you have a piece of cake, yes. This one has the walnut, the marshmallow, everything. Let's try it. That is so good. You could probably sit down and just eat a bowl of the frosting. I'm going to use this frosting to frost a cake. I'm going to use it to frost a chocolate chip cake, which I will have on another video. And you can catch that one later. But boy, creamy. And then you have, you bite into the walnut. That's a different flavor and texture. The marshmallows are nice and moist because they're surrounded with this luscious frosting. This is good. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you try making Rocky Road frosting because it is delicious and it is a fun frosting, not a traditional frosting. And I think the kids will love it, but the adults will even love it a bit more. So thanks for watching. For those of you who subscribe to my channel, I really appreciate it. And if you don't, I hope you do. It is free. Thanks for watching.